Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Christelle Martinet, and I'm here with a scrying session for the full moon that is coming up in about 12 hours in this part of the world. I'm still in Italy, and so I'm scrying on the 25th, going into the 26th, and it is the full moon in Pisces. There is sort of a it's not by chance I pick up the lapis lazuli, the first stone. There is a sort of calm, but the kind of calm where almost everyone feels that they're fearful. They're fearful because when the calm, it comes before the storm. And this is the type of energy that this full moon in Pisces is offering us, is gifting us. Now, the ultimate vision that I get immediately, okay, so this is an immediate sensation, is one of patchwork. You know that patchwork is a series of small pieces of material that are pieced together in sometimes in any which way, but oftentimes there is a method to the patchworker's madness. And what I'm seeing here is it is a period, this full moon in Pisces, that's offering us a patchwork of our lives. What we're seeing before us is a patchwork that may disorient many, but what happens when you look from above, if you raise your gaze from a pattern, you can, the farther away you look, the farther away you go to take a look, you can see, the better you see an image. And this is the invitation that this full moon gives us. What I'm seeing as a pattern for this period, and this could go from the 25th all up until it's September 1st, this entire next week, is a pattern of, okay, I'm standing on the large rock, I'm going to take another step to the next largest rock, as if you were on the beach, and you have to get down by the ocean, by the water. So you find the stones that are most comfortable for your feet. And this is what you're looking at. This is what we are all looking at in this patchwork. Where can I put my next step in order for me to get the proper balance and the proper sensation of a foundation, of grounding? And what is interesting is that it's very clear to me to see how most of us fall prey to fear because of not knowing, where the next rock is, not knowing what the next step is going to be. But there is, if we take a look at the patchwork before us on the bottom of our feet, in the patchwork of our lives, if we take a hard look and divide it into colors, if we look not only at the forms and the shapes, but in the colors, look at the colors, you'll see that there's a predominance. And the first series of colors that will strike you, that will emerge, are the darker colors. And those are the set standards. Those are the foundations. Those are the parts, the pieces of the patchwork in our lives that have been experienced. And we step on those then to launch into new experiences. And so we can safely say that what is given, what I know, even if it may have been a very difficult experience, and life does give us all experiences that are difficult, no matter what lifestyle or standard of living we have, or how much money we have in the bank, or what kind of car we drive, we all are in the soup of life, and therefore that means you get the good and the bad. Now, those dark areas of the patchwork of our lives are the areas that have been tried and true. They have been experienced already. Whether they are viewed by us or experienced or assessed, evaluated by us now, today, in this moment as being positive or negative, they are there. So let's put our feet on them, because from there then we move on to things that are unknown. There is an area, and it's not gray, I'm not calling it a gray area, but if we assess the colors in the patchwork that we're looking at, there is an area that seems to be mixed with so many different little ingredients that offer us, the area offers us a sort of friendly beckoning, you know, come, come, these colors are akin to what you have experienced already. Come, come, this is not as different as you might think. Come to this area, you'll be okay. You know, you have experienced something like it. Now, this is quite a dangerous move, is what I'm getting. Because to then falling, I'm saying falling in its connotation, its negative connotation, going down into an area that you have felt already may not allow you to experience completely new areas, completely new colors, completely new parts of the patchwork that may hold so much promise, especially in this period of time, in this full moon. The full moon in Pisces is beckoning us to attempt, take a leap of faith, ladies and gentlemen, and let's move into an area that we're not familiar with. This is the Moldavite. And yet I see the majority of us will do precisely that. Will not. The majority of us will not break a pattern, will not try to leap toward a new experience, will stand close to the edge, you know, instead of jumping out into the boundless area that we're not aware of. Most of us are desiring to do that. Again, what I'm seeing is the beckoning of taking a leap of faith. I can't stress that enough, because it offers us promise. Chalcedony, this is a chalcedony stone. I came across this as a necklace of stones, wholesale. It was through a friend of a friend of a friend. And what I did with this over a year ago, I had the name of my family. I took that and made, with each stone, had this macrame artist make a different necklace for every woman with the same last name. And right before Christmas, I was able to get it off to them, and it was just wonderful. It was just a beautiful sense of community, you know, of togetherness, and it was a time of such sadness. But the chalcedony is a stone of unity. Now, how does this tie in with this, you know, almost negative warning from the Moldavite? The chalcedony is telling us, look, you guys, try and put your foot on an area of that patchwork that you're not familiar with. Test the water. Get your feet wet. When you can put your foot and your step on something that gives you a foundation, gives you the sense of a firm foundation, it will be different for all of us, because some people may be more comfortable with shifting rocks or shifting sand or something like quicksand, because it will give them a sense of enveloping their body as they go further down. Others will need a hard surface. It's really important that we're able to be aware of what suits us best. This full moon in Pisces is really giving us an opportunity. It's giving us an opportunity to have a second go. You know, we can change our direction. And of course, in the course of events that take place, the course of events, undoubtedly, many of us will not enjoy leaving people behind. This is Jade. Will not enjoy leaving people behind. But if you are honest, you understand that they are not serving you well enough for your personal, now I don't want to call it growth, but your personal your service, you know, what you're here to do, what you know that you can provide, what you can give. And they seem to hold you back, you know, the people, certain people that you have surrounded your life with. And I, you know, say we have surrounded, that's what I should be saying all the time, that we have surrounded ourselves with. But all in all, the major enemy here, the most difficult challenge, is brought by fear. And this full moon in Pisces is here to tell us, fear not. Fear not. You need to fear only fear itself. These are a cluster of stones here. I do see safety in numbers, and in that expression, safety in numbers, we would all do well with being close to certain people, and it doesn't necessarily have to be people that we know, or people that we are paired with, or that our significant other. It may well be people we do not know, but the closeness, we need the closeness of others in order for us to get our bearings, because if we can understand mutual experiences that are being had from other people in our midst, this will provide us a communion of similar experiences. But not only, it will alleviate the fear. And it doesn't necessarily have to be very in-depth. This is a matter of exchanging a few key words with people, a few words of, how's the water? How's the water? Is it warm enough? Okay, well then maybe I'll try it myself. And here is also, there also is an opportunity in this full moon in Pisces for us to have the gift of freedom that comes with liberation. Now, when I say liberation, I mean, and what I'm seeing here is the freedom from fear, the liberation that is felt when someone can absolutely, when we can absolutely leave our shackles, our own mind will allow us to wander where we no longer wanted to go or never wanted to go up until that part, up until this moment. But this is an opportunity for us to allow us to have greater freedom of thought, greater freedom of action, greater freedom to be what we have dreamt to be. And what if we fail? So what if we fail? We have failed before. I mean, I know I have far too many times that I want to think of, but that's just part of life. So we can't have a fail-safe plan when we're talking about moving into the future. What we are, the offering, let's say, that is here for us now is the opportunity to say, yes, this person has, or these persons have served me well. They were very important to me. They were the most important people in my life. I need to go on now. I need to move on for my own personal life and theirs. And we will remember. We always will remember. We will remember. And that's, you know, I'm hearing that loud and clear. We will remember. That patchwork, remember the dark areas of the patchwork, those are there that to remind us we always will remember. This is part of citrine. A larger stone that unfortunately fell on the ground and it fell on my floor, and I kept this because it was one of the larger pieces, and the main body I still have, which is a large, beautiful stone. An act of freedom. This just had to fall on the ground and get its own, find its own way here. But we have bases, you know. What I'm reminded of are shapes and bodies and muscles and fat and all the things that our physicality is made out of. What is different here, though, what I'm seeing different here is the importance of our bone structures, all of our bone structures, as they exist, as the bone structure exists underneath the surface of this covering, this heavy, you know, at times, this heavy covering that this dimension that we live in has over the bone structure. And what I'm hearing here is that we need to bring to bear more concentration on our bone structure in every movement that we make, in every step that we take. Our bone structure is the most important, and the way it moves. You remember, you could imagine this, a puppet on a string, Pinocchio. Okay, we all know who Pinocchio is with the long nose, a wooden puppet, and the joints move and the feet move, the head moves, the cap moves. Imagine our own bodies that way as we move. Imagine what happens when we lift our knees. What happens to our feet? Do the toes point on the downwards? What happens when our toes point upwards? Does somewhere else, is there another area of our body that gets pulled? or changes position. This full moon is inviting us, ladies and gentlemen, to take a look at the movements that we make and how they affect us, how they affect every other part of our body. And the more aware that we are of the bone structure, our hip, try to free our hips movement, our shoulder blades, how to move them out by simply changing the length of, just lengthening our arm longer than the other arm, and then do the other one, The full moon here is telling us that we need this time to play with our shape. The shape, not the outside shape that comes and goes, but the actual bone structure, and try to find the core in order for us then to have a completely different sensation of our experiences. This is a jade dog that was a gift from a friend, Keith. I always said it looks like a rhinoceros, it doesn't look like a dog, but he said it was a dog, so it's a dog. Now, we have, when I'm talking about the bone structure, it is a harder structure in relation to the skin and the epidermis all around the bones, of course, and muscles, but it is porous. What does that mean? It means that it has holes. There's energy that flows in and out, and all you've heard often, let me finish this before I go on. It is porous and energy flows all around it. And I'm reminded now of those, remember when we were children, or lately, and even now, we saw movies of ghosts and how people would walk through rooms, and how that is indeed possible if only our minds would let us, okay? Now, what I'm getting at here, and what is coming up with this poor little jade dog, is that we need to remember how porous we are, no matter if we are concentrating. And as I said, the full moon in Pisces is inviting us to concentrate on our bone structure. Be that as it may, it moves, but it is itself porous. Energy flows through it, and the greater we allow energy to flow through us, the lighter we feel. There is a this is crystal quartz, a smoky quartz actually, with a phantom inside. I had it made into a pendulum. One of my favorite stones here. We actually have within the, and as I speak, I'm telling you what I'm seeing, even though I don't say what I see, okay? So it's not no other strange narrative. You might be thinking, what the hell is she on to now? What is she doing? What book, what page of the book is she reading now, in her mind's eye? What I'm seeing, if you have to hear that, is that even if you could imagine some television commercials when they talk about our digestive tract, and you see all these little men going in and out when you have heartburn, things like that. All right, let's imagine the same type of a commercial, because what I'm seeing here is the bone structure that is porous and it's permeable, and energy can flow through. And once you go and be able to bring your mind to go there, actually go through those pores, and like swim as if you were underwater all around these different caves that you're going through, you'll understand that there is no area of your bone structure what is actually holding you up, that you cannot visit. What I mean, that's a double negative. This means that at every moment in time, in everywhere you go, you can visit every single area of your bone structure. I'm going to have to stop it at that, except this stone is beckoning me. The last stone I'll take. This is my fluorite, again here too, one of my favorite stones. It's the blues and the purples, and it's just gorgeous, and greens. The true essence of being able to go there into the pores and concentrating on our bone structure is what the gift of this full moon, ladies and gentlemen, is in Pisces. It's offering the freedom of lightness, and we can receive this if we're able to permeate our most solid structures, like the bone, our bones. So I'm going to have to go put this down and relax and try to look and listen to this again to understand the message, because it was very, very intense. I do hope this was of help to you, and until we scry again on the next new moon, when we have our next new moon, bye-bye, ladies and gentlemen. It was a pleasure. Thank you, my older subscribers, and welcome to this channel, new subscribers. Bye-bye.